Are you worried about AI? I wouldn't be. I would think of AI as a tool to help you solve problems a little quicker and boost your productivity. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan, this is the MBA Accelerator, and I'm going to talk briefly about people's concerns about AI. I've had many people say to me, well, AI is going to take our jobs. Not necessarily. The thing to remember is AI is just a tool. It can do things a little faster than you might be able to do, but it needs you to direct it, to point it, and make sure that it executes properly. And of course, you've got to check it. You can't just take it face value. And when people have talked to me about that, what I have said to them is this. I liken AI to calculators. And calculators, okay, calculators are only as good as the person who's putting the inputs in. I always like to think of the acronym garbage in, garbage out. Okay? When you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage results out. And one of the things I remember a long time ago, someone had told me about calculators is you should kind of have an idea of what is behind it and if you're going to get the right answer. Um, if you do a calculation and you have no concept of is this approximately what I expected or what I should have gotten, you're going to run into a problem. Calculators are helpful tools, but they need you to confirm that the right information is going in and the right information is coming out. And I think the same thing is true of AI. You can't just rely on it completely. You have got to have an idea of what you want it to do. You need to put things in context. They call it prompt engineering. And I say to my wife, for example, when she asks me, why do you spend so much time typing in when you're using ChatGPT, for an example? And I say, I do it because I'm giving it as much context as possible. I'm fleshing everything out. And I'm being very specific. I said, because the better information that you put in, the better an answer you're going to get out of it. And then, of course, when you get the answer out, you have to confirm it. You've got to look at it. Another way to think of this, and I think it applies to the calculator example and it applies to AI example, is you have to do Fermi estimation. Enrico Fermi was a high-end physicist. I think he was involved in the Manhattan Project, which is the nuclear bomb during World War II. But he was at the University of Chicago, and he was a professor there, and he was a high-end mathematician, physicist, I believe. And he did what's known as Fermi estimation, and I believe firmly in that. And effectively, what he did was he gave an example where he said to his students, how many piano tuners are there in Chicago? And they couldn't really come up with an answer, but he was able to use his approach, the Fermi estimation, and on the back of a napkin, through a series of assumptions, and I hate to use the word assumption, but he would make some assumptions, and with relative limited information, he was actually able to come up with a very accurate, in many cases, estimation of how many there were. And the way it works is kind of like this. Um, he would say, okay, well, how many piano students approximately are there in the Chicago area? How many piano stores? And through a series of estimations, he would be able to come up with a relatively accurate guesstimate. So he would say, okay, there's probably, one piano in every 15 houses. And there's probably, 2 to 3 people playing the piano. And he would just go down the list, and ultimately he would come up with an estimation. If there's that many pianos and there's that many players, you would need approximately that many, and a piano needs to be tuned X number of times per year or per use. And he was able to come up with an estimate that would be highly accurate. I've used this approach many times before. The good news is, as I say, you can, in a very short period of time, come up with an estimation and be able to turn around and confirm it. So getting back to AI and my calculator story, what you want to do when it comes to using AI, don't fear it. Use it as a tool, just like you used a calculator. Um, Come up with questions, ideas, directions, and plug it in. But in the back of your mind, have an idea of what it is in terms of the answer that it should be spitting out. If you start from that perspective, it is a very powerful tool. And you should be able to, again, with a calculator, know that X percentage of something is probably going to be about X. So then what you do is apply that same logic to AI. And if you embrace AI and use it as the tool that it is, you don't have a whole lot to fear with AI, and it can help boost your productivity because it can do things very quickly. But again, it still relies on you. And at the end of the day, you are the thing, the X factor, if you will, that makes the difference. So when it comes to using AI, embrace it, but much like a calculator, anticipate the answer. And if you want a tool or a method to do that, think in terms of Fermat estimation. It's a highly effective way to do confirmations in terms of what is being spit out. And always remember, the GIGO, which is garbage in, garbage out. Make sure you put good information in, and then you'll probably get good information out, but always, verify. What the other expression is, trust but verify. So don't be afraid of AI, embrace it and use it for the tool that it is, and it'll go a long way. I want to thank you if you're interested in this kind of material and other material like it. The MBA Accelerator is highly focused on MBA-oriented issues and concerns. If you're interested in a more broad perspective of personal and professional development and traditional education alternatives, consider looking at the My Ford University channel. Again, in both situations, we want you to learn it fast and apply it faster. Consider subscribing, giving us a like or a share. Don't keep us a secret. And we will see you the next time. Thank you.